The sky above the old coastal town was draped in shades of lavender and gold as the sun descended, casting a poetic hue upon the earth. At the center of this stillness stood a grand hall adorned with peonies and silks the color of ink and fire, black and red, symbolizing the pain and passion that defined Tian Xuning and Ziyu's love story. But tonight, vengeance was no longer the axis of their connection. Tonight, they were not enemies, not manipulators of fate or wounded hearts chasing retribution. They were simply two souls who had journeyed through hell together, only to find each other waiting at the altar. Ziyu stood in front of the mirror, fingers trembling slightly as he adjusted the collar of his traditional black hanfu embroidered with golden dragons. Behind him, Tian Xuning walked in silently, his reflection sharp and tender all at once. Their eyes met in the mirror, not for the first time, but perhaps for the most honest. "You look like the man I once hated," Ziyu whispered, a smile tugging at his lips. "And the one I now love." Tian Xuning stepped closer, resting his hand on Ziyu's shoulder. "And you look like the boy I failed to understand, until it was too late. But not anymore." Outside, the murmurs of guests waiting began to rise. The most influential figures in the city had come, not just to witness a union, but to behold the miracle of a love that should have died with betrayal, yet bloomed with forgiveness. Their wedding wasn't a fairy tale. It was a battlefield turned into sanctuary. A garden that grew from ash and blood. A vow carved from scars. The ceremony began beneath a canopy of twilight stars. Instead of music, the air vibrated with silence and anticipation. No choir, no string quartet. Just the echo of their breathing, two hearts that had once beat in rivalry, now synchronized. Tian Xuning took Ziyu's hand, and for a moment, it felt like grasping onto years of pain and promise. "I once used you to hurt myself," Tian Xuning said aloud, voice clear and unwavering. "And you used me to destroy what little light I had left. But through that destruction, we found truth." Ziyu blinked back tears. "I forgive you, Tian Xuning. Not because I must, but because no one else could have understood me the way you do." Their vows weren't crafted by poets. They were scars turned into syllables, betrayals that had been burned into their skin now whispered as proof of their humanity. "Marry me not because I saved you," Ziyu said, "but because you survived me." "I do," Tian Xuning replied, his voice breaking. After the ceremony, the world was watching. The world didn't know how to react. Social media erupted. Hashtags trended for days. #enemies to lovers. #Tian Xuning Ziyu wedding. #love beyond vengeance. Critics called it madness. Cynics called it performance art. But those who had followed their story from the beginning knew, it was real. As real as the blade Ziyu once held to Tian Xuning's throat. As real as the tears Xuning shed the day Ziyu disappeared after learning the truth. Now, hand in hand, they walked into a future neither of them had planned, but one they would shape together. The reception, a celebration of duality. Their reception was not filled with laughter, but with awe. Guests didn't toast to perfection, they toasted to survival. They toasted to love that defied logic. Ziyu danced with Xuning for the first time as husbands. It wasn't choreographed. It wasn't elegant. It was real. Their first dance was clumsy, full of awkward laughter and sudden, unexpected kisses. Tian Xuning held Ziyu tightly, as if afraid he might vanish again. "You always disappear when I need you most," Xuning whispered. "I'm here now," Ziyu replied. "And I'm staying. Even if the whole world wants to see us burn." "Let it burn," Tian Xuning said. "We'll rise anyway." Nightfall and secret shared. Later that night, under moonlight, they escaped the crowd and sat by the cliff overlooking the sea. Tian Xuning removed the ring from his finger and held it up. "This ring isn't gold," he said. "It's forged from the bullet that should have killed me the night I betrayed you." Ziyu stared, stunned. "You kept it?" "I turned it into a promise. That I'd never run from what I did. That I'd own my sins." Ziyu leaned in, kissing him slowly. "Then I'll wear mine too." He pulled out a necklace, a small vial of ashes. "From the letter I burned. The one you wrote me but I never read." Tian Xuning nodded. "We buried the past in fire. Now we live from its warmth." The first night, love without games. That night, their bedroom wasn't a battlefield. It was a sanctuary. Their bodies met not with tension, but surrender. No longer guarded, no longer waiting to strike. Every touch was gentle, reverent. Tian Xuning kissed the scars on Ziyu's chest. Ziyu traced the bruises that had long since healed on Xuning's back. "I don't know how to love without war," Ziyu whispered. "Then let me teach you peace," Tian Xuning replied, pulling him close. And so they made love for the first time without vengeance, without ulterior motives. Just heartbeats, moans, and sighs, raw and quiet against the rhythm of rain tapping on the window. What comes next? Their marriage didn't erase the past. It didn't heal every wound. There were nights Ziyu woke screaming. Mornings when Xuning stared out the window wondering if it would all crumble again. But they stayed. That was the vow they renewed each morning. Not just "I love you," but "I am still here." They started writing together, anonymously, publishing short stories that blurred the lines between fiction and memory. Tales of lovers who were also liars. Of enemies who became each other's only sanctuary. Their art became a therapy. Their therapy a new form of art. One final secret. A year after the wedding, Ziyu confessed something. "I knew from the beginning," he said one morning, watching Xuning make tea. "I knew you didn't kill my brother. I knew it was your father. But I needed a reason to hate you. Because hating you was easier than loving you." Tian Xuning didn't speak for a long time. Then, quietly, he replied, "I knew you knew. That's why I never stopped loving you. Even when you held a knife to my throat." They sat in silence. Not the awkward kind. The kind that feels like music. And then they laughed, because only they could love this way. Because only they could survive it. Love, after all. Their love wasn't born from purity. It was carved from vengeance, betrayal, guilt, and truth. And perhaps that's why it lasted. Because love like theirs, flawed, bruised, unorthodox, is the kind that doesn't shatter when the fairy tale ends. It begins there,